So welcome everybody. I'm Tuni. Most of you know me. I'm the Executive Director of District Hall and Venture Café Providence. And we added this, some of you are new to this session. So we call this Cultivating Innovation, Informal Conversations with Rhode Island's Economic Gardener. And we really use this to replace our in-person networking. Like when you walk into our beautiful district hall for our Thursday gatherings, we would be saying, hey, Thorne, what's going on? Colleen, blah, blah, blah. So this is kind of just emulating that as much as possible in the virtual space. So we invite friends that I'm going to call out, and you're welcome to share in the chat. We love to activate the chat and keep things going. Private chat, public chat to everybody. Drop your LinkedIns, drop your URL, tell us where you came from and how you heard about it. We always love to hear that. And we usually focus the session, around what we're going to cover. So today, Cleantech Innovation, but we invited my old friend, not that you're old, but we've been friends for a while, Karen Dalton from Dare to Dream Ranch. We are really working hard, Amy and I, to create more veterans programming. And Karen is amazing and doing amazing work. And I've been to her ranch. She uses equine therapy and steer therapy, clearly, and goat therapy, all kinds of creatures on her ranch. And she is part of the United Way of Rhode Island's 401 Gives. Can you talk a little bit about what you do at Dare to Dream, how long you've been there, and about the program and how it's an amazing program? And 401's coming up 2 weeks from today.
Yes. Very exciting. Thank you very much for having me on. And I know we have, oh my goodness, I can't even, it's been at least 10 years through our partnership in healthcare and networking. Dare to Dream Ranch is a 501c3 nonprofit that offers alternative therapy programs for service members, veterans, and their families with PTSD, anxiety, depression, military sexual trauma, mild traumatic brain injury, and stroke recovery. What started with my passions of gardening, time in nature, surrounding yourself with positive, like-minded people and horses has expanded because veterans have come to me and said, this helped me, can I do this? So we have expanded and added other programs, from woodworking, a 22-year Navy chief that was suicidal and literally driving himself to the top of the Newport Bridge when he stopped off at the naval base and demanded treatment. And the VA sent him to school for woodworking and engraving. And when he found me and what I was doing here for veterans, he said, can I do that? And then I kept saying, oh, you can do this? Okay, can you make me this? Can you make me that? And then the Center for Women Enterprise down in Providence started a business program for veterans, teaching them how to start their own business. And I said, Chris, go. So he went and he started his own woodworking business, and actually is so busy I can hardly ever get him here to do the stuff he was doing here. So awesome, it's great. It's great. And then we had another Army veteran that really missed the peer-to-peer as a first sergeant, because when you're in the military and you need to figure out how do I do something, you go to your first sergeant, say, hey, first sergeant, what do I do? And he really missed being able to coach people. So he came to me through another mutual friend and said, can I do peer-to-peer programs? I said, yep, sure. So the two of us worked together and said, what do you want it to look like? I reached out to my network. We had a full day with 25 veterans here back in September 2019. We had 2 planned for 2020. Obviously that didn't happen, but we're back into it again for 2021. We have 2 peer-to-peer, and what we did was they came, they had breakfast, they got to hang out around a bonfire in the morning. They did yoga, archery, hiking, equine therapy. We also provided lunch. So it was a 6-hour day, and they built relationships that they continue to connect with each other well past that one-day event. Excuse me. And then we have gardening, which, like I said, was a passion of mine when I was married and needed to get out of the house. I'm like, I'm going to go weed the garden. If I had a garden to weed, I built a new one. So it was, Tuni, with your family, gardening is very therapeutic. Yes. So I now have a female combat veteran that participated in a beekeeping program at RIC with me back in 2019. She attended my peer-to-peer retreat here. And then she also went to the URI Master Gardening Symposium with me in 2019. And she went back and she got her Master Gardening certificate and is now working on her bachelor's in plant science. And she's taking over my horticulture program. So she is going to be running educational horticulture programs here for veterans and their families. So it's very exciting.
Shout, because today is Cleantech Innovation Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
For any of you innovators out there, it would be really cool to bring some clean tech solutions to Karen's farm, Dare to Dream Ranch.
Yes. So if anybody can figure out, so I saw at one time in Finland, they did an entire equine competition. They did all the electricity from the compost. Now, you know how much heat comes from compost. How do I turn that into electricity? Because my electric bill is almost $500 a month. And I'm like,
you can't really have solar out there, right? Because
no,
I've been there unless you've cleared a lot of land.
Right. Well, I mean, almost the whole 11 acres is now cleared. So if you come back again, it's almost all cleared. And we recently, so as you know, I keep saying this one comes to me with this one comes to me with that. We had back in October a new veteran that was referred to us from another veteran friend, and he loved farming and he wanted to volunteer and get more involved. And then as we got to know him and got to know what he wanted to do, we helped him find a part-time job because he really wasn't ready to get right back into working full-time. So we helped him get a part-time job, but he's living with family because after 24 years in the Army and 2 divorces, he didn't have funding to be able to afford a reasonable place to live. So as all this is going on, we raise rabbits and we have rabbit meat. So I had put on Facebook one day, I have some naked rabbits available if anybody would like some. And one of my friends who runs the Center for Dynamic Learning, she's the executive director, her husband loves rabbits. So she brought her husband out. Well, what they do is they teach inner city at-risk youth engineering and building skills, and they turn shipping containers into 100% sustainable tiny homes. They're building them there and they're dropping them here. So veterans will live in them at no cost to them in exchange for working the ranch. So they get the benefit of the agritherapy and the other programs that we have. They get to save money and then go off and be able to get their own place.
That's so great. I have to wrap you up a little bit, and I want you to talk about 401 Gives. So this is awesome. We're going to have you back because this should be a startup story in our in one of our veteran programs. But tell us about 401 Gives and how we can donate and all about that and where the money's going, et cetera.
Absolutely. So 401 Gives. So we do everything at no cost to our clients, 100% no cost to them. And it's a very costly business to run a farm. So 401 Gives is a virtual 1-day, 24-hour fundraiser. We go online and you can donate. And if you donate at 6 a.m. until $50,000 that Rhode Island Foundation has set aside, they will match that. So we have several people that are committed to $500. It's a maximum of $500 per matching donation. But if you donate $500 at 6 a.m. and until they run out of their 50,000, the Rhode Island Foundation will match that. So that's what we're working on.
Up to 500, right?
Up to $500.
10, 25, $100.
Right. And anything amount, what I, try to say is we can make this go viral. You have 1 million people donate $10. That's $10 million. So
that's right. Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps. What we're going to do with that money, the $50,000 is to pay 6 months of operating expenses, $50,000 to be able to build a gift shop in our front yard to turn that into, so as veterans are making the products, that's their therapy, they make money, we make money. We want to turn the house into a bed and breakfast style facility.
You're going to do e-commerce too, Karen?
What's that?
Are you going to have an e-commerce component as well?
Eventually we will, when we have the gift shop. Yes. Okay.
I'm so sorry to do this because I love this, but I have to wrap it up because I have some more people to call out.
Yeah. No, so 401 Gives, if you go to our Facebook page or our website,
Evelyn, can you drop it back in the chat? You have the link, right? Okay, Evelyn's going to drop that in the chat. Thank you, Karen. I know your miniature horse is colicking right now, so you got to get back out to the barn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen, for all you do. So for those of you who popped in, this is our very informal conversation style session, Cultivating Innovation. And I want to call out, so we're part of a global institute. It's called Venture Cafe Global Institute. And in our regional nonprofit family, we have the original Venture Cafe Cambridge, and we have Venture Cafe Providence, but there are other venture cafes all over the world. And Kristen, hi, Kristen. It's nice to see you
Hello.
here.
Thank you for
How's
having me
Houston
this
today?
morning.
How's Texas? Austin. I said Houston, but I meant Austin.
Austin, yeah, it's pretty good. We've warmed up quite a bit in the past couple weeks, so spring is already in the air down here.
Awesome. So what do you have to share in the world of Venture Cafe Global Institute today?
Yeah, we have a lot of really cool stuff going on. So one of the benefits of this pandemic, if we're all being optimists, is that our ability to interact and do global programmings between our global network has really improved and become a lot easier in the virtual sense. So like Tuni mentioned, we got a couple locations in the Northeast. We also have Philadelphia, Miami, and St. Louis in the US. We have venture cafes in Warsaw and Rotterdam, and in Tokyo and Sydney as well. And we're always looking to expand to new sites. But we've got some cool global programs happening over the next couple weeks, starting with tonight, this evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We have a globally curated happen session all about building equitable companies. And we've got a really great lineup of experts from around the globe. We have Travis Sheridan, who is the former president of Venture Cafe Global, but he's also the chief community officer for Wexford Science and Technology. We have Bruce Katz, who is a really well-known researcher.
Most of us here in Rhode Island know who Bruce is. He's amazing.
Okay. So Bruce is also, his new work has been focused around financial equity. So he's going to be sharing some of the work that he's been working on. And then we have Dijon Smith, who's from Accenture Ventures in the Midwest. And then we have Fadzi Wande, and she's actually based in Australia, but she does a lot of really great work around equity. She's currently in Australia, but has also worked in London and in Africa as well. So we're really excited to have this global panel. And that one's going to be hosted by Venture Cafe Philadelphia. So you can log into it kind of very similar to how you log into anything at Venture Cafe Providence. And that's at 6:30. And then next week, we have one about cultivating innovation districts. And again, it's a globally curated session. The one next week will be hosted by Venture Cafe Rotterdam. So I believe it's at 12, noon Eastern next Thursday. It takes place during the Rotterdam Thursday gathering. And there we have Anushka Imanbox, who is our executive director at Venture Cafe Rotterdam. We have Tim Rowe, who is the founder and CEO of CIC, as well as the founder of Venture Cafe. We have Julie Wagner, who is also formerly of Brookings. She's now the president of the Global Institute on Innovation Districts. So she's going to be sharing kind of the latest research they're doing on innovation districts and how COVID has impacted that. And then we also have Christine Wergeland, and she's the CEO of Oslo Science City, which is a new innovation district that is in the midst of being built. So they're going to share all of their different perspectives on how you build an innovation district, how collaboration leads to innovation. So we're really excited about that one as well. And then the last thing I'm going to tell you about is we have been working very hard with Alpha Lab Gear, which is a hardware incubator and accelerator based in Pittsburgh. They have an annual hardware World Cup competition. And so we are hosting the Hardware World Cup semifinals in Philadelphia next week. Then we'll have Rotterdam coming up. Sydney and Cambridge will co-host one, and Tokyo will also co-host a semifinal. And so each semifinal focuses on a different vertical, whether it's consumer goods, robotics, healthcare. So we have a lot of really cool semifinal events coming up. And then the winners of that get a $50,000 cash prize, equity free.
Wow.
So really, really glad to be a part of that worldwide hardware cup as well, which will be really cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us from Austin and sharing. Come back anytime,
Yes,
11:30
of
to
course.
12. And, we're happy to. It is really exciting. And one of the silver linings is definitely the ease of interconnecting with our other Venture Cafe sites from around the world. So that is awesome. And speaking of innovation districts, I see Colleen from Cic Providence. Hi, Colleen. I didn't make it in today, but I was there all day yesterday, and it's exciting at Cic Providence and in our building at 225 Dyer to see all the activity. I saw you giving multiple tours yesterday.
Yeah, there were a few tours going on yesterday, which is always exciting. And yeah, we made sure to pop into District Hall because they were asking about, maybe some larger event space than what we have here at CIC. So always happy to show them that. Yeah, there's definitely some good activity going on. It feels like springtime and like things are changing. And we've had a few months of like targeted wellness offerings for our clients here over the past few months. So right now we're in the middle of what we're calling like the month of nourishment. So focusing on food, and we just did this just yesterday, one of two drop-offs that we're doing this week as we collect fresh food for Crossroads, Rhode Island. So we're partnering with them, and they offer some, services for people experiencing homelessness in the area. So we're really happy to partner with them and bring them some fresh produce. And we'll be doing that again this month. And the next month, the focus is going to be on mindfulness. So just trying to, provide some balance, some healthy work-life balance to all of our clients coming into the space. And it's good to see you guys, to see Amy and Tuni around the space too. And things are definitely feeling exciting here.
Yeah, we've had, I don't know if you all know this, but a lot of people are moving to Providence and Rhode Island during this pandemic. It's been a great silver lining for all my realtor friends because they just can't, they don't have inventory. It's, the cost of living is much less. No offense, Yulia, I know you're here from Cambridge, but our location, centrally located, and ease to get back and forth to Boston if you need to. It's been really exciting to see all kinds of really cool people moving back to Rhode Island because they can, and a lot of new younger professionals choosing Rhode Island. It's been exciting. We definitely have a lot of that in our building. I'm seeing it in our District Hall space and definitely at Cic Providence. So, well, thank you for popping in. I guess I'll jump over to Cambridge now since I just saw you, Yulia. And Shaheen's on vacation, so you're running, we have a similar session in Cambridge that we run from 1:30 to 2. And usually Shaheen, who is the director of the Venture Cafe Cambridge program, runs that, but because he is out, Yulia is leading that session today. And you're going to be working with our Evelyn, right? So it's Ladies' Day at Venture Cafe Cambridge.
And not the only one. So yes, it is Ladies' Day today, and I'm really happy to lead that session. It's going to be a nice day today at the Venture Cafe. We'll have Bob Cargill back with a new batch of awesomeness about social media. So social media 101, we're talking about Instagram today at 2 p.m. after the networking session. So if you're available, join us at 1:30, network with the Boston folks. Let's bridge the ecosystems and make things happen. Following that one, we have, what do we have? Oh, we're welcoming Ace Next Gen, our new community partner, to talk about keeping momentum and generating positive press and opportunities during the pandemic times. So that's going to be a really interesting session. And at 4 p.m., we're going to talk about IT security for startups.
Super important.
I'm sorry?
Super important for all the small businesses here. You might want to jump over for those sessions. IT security is huge.
Definitely agree. And we don't talk a lot about that. Normally, when we talk about IT security, cybersecurity, we're thinking big corporations, big data, and all of that, but we never really talk about small startups and small businesses. So definitely, this is something for all of us. I'm looking forward to that one. And the expert presenting is a long-term community member at Venture Cafe. So I'm going to drop the links to join in chat. And if I may take one more second of your time, I would like to announce the launch of our Seed Immersion program. that is kicking off today. Applications are opening. I'm going to drop the link in chat as well. If any of you is working in retail, supply chain, warehousing, robotics, last mile delivery, anything that has to do anything with retail, feel free to apply. We'll look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, Colleen, please share that with any of your members in case they're interested in any of you out there. This is awesome. And just so you know, Evelyn's been dropping all kinds of links. So if we've been talking about it and you've been engaged like I usually am, looking at the little squares here, everything is in the chat. And Evelyn is very good at making sure all those links are there. So it's great to see everybody. For those of you who popped in, this is our informal session from 11:30 to 12, Cultivating Innovation. And I would just like to say, to back up what Yulia and Kristen, definitely we've strategically in this new virtual world positioned our programming before Cambridge, because I know before I was executive director of our Venture Café Providence program, like I would go to Cambridge. And then when we started in Providence, it was like, pick one or the other. So one of the silver linings in this virtual space is that you can attend both, and as well as other venture cafes that are happening on Thursdays. But I wanted to tell you, Yulia, I was in our district hall space all day yesterday, and my new friend that I met through Venture Cafe Cambridge came by because he was coming. He lives in Boston and he has a place in Connecticut. So we've had multiple Zoom meetings and he actually came in person. So I strongly suggest any of you, I mean, we've already built the bridge between Cambridge and Boston and Rhode Island. So please jump over there if you can, because I have made more connections in the past year in the virtual space because we're on our computers. So it's very easy to like share our LinkedIns and connect right away and not lose that momentum when we're in the physical space, which we can't wait to get back to too. There's a lag time. I find maybe that's why it's just expedited the connections, and it's pretty cool. So so hope to see you over at Cambridge too. We're always there. And Amy, who else is here that I should call out today in the Cleantech space? Beth, why don't you talk about what's coming up? Beth Zonas.
Sure.
Open.
Happy to. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no. I was just introducing you, but you do a great job introducing yourself, so you can take it from here.
Sure. Thanks, Tuni. Yeah, so I'm the director of Cleantech Open Northeast, and I'm super excited to share a little bit about how we work, what we do. We're an accelerator for cleantech startups, and we'll also be talking with our dear friend Thorne Sparkman and a couple of there he is cheering for himself, and also Ben Sorkin and Derek Stein, who are illustrious alumni of our program. And we're looking forward to hearing from any clean tech startups who would like to do a 1-minute pitch. So we'll have that opportunity at the end of the session. I believe, Amy, if I'm not mistaken, that's between 12:45 and 1. Is that correct? So tell Amy if you're interested, and we'll call on you and give you that opportunity. But don't be afraid. It's not an audition. It's really just to get to know who you are and what you're up to.
Definitely. I did send the information to Toby Stapleton, asked him to send it out to anyone. So if any of you here know of someone who might want to pitch, they have time. So please share the information. It should be fun and not stressful, and a great opportunity for them to share about their business. And for those of you who weren't able to join us this morning from 9 to 10:30, we had an awesome session. It was a great discussion with lots of global thought leaders on communities and negotiations when it comes to offshore wind agreements. And that we record, edit, and post all of our sessions. So if you did miss that, or if you just want to listen to it again, we'll have that up on our YouTube channel next week. And it was really, really excellent. A lot of great dialogue, a lot of great points from all over the world. And it's 11:56. Amy, I think that we can just start a little bit early. Do you want to?
Can I just talk about what we're doing next week too?
Yes. So I was going to say, and then kick it off.
Yeah. So Beth did a great job going over what we're going to do today. So I won't do that for all of you. But next week, actually, for those of you especially interested in eco-friendly opportunities and eco-friendly technology, we're actually going to talk about building a green community. with the folks at Union Studio Architects. And then we have a really exciting startup story with a new company called Glavel, who's moving into Rhode Island. And so we hope you'll join us next week from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. If you want to get in some professional development, next week we are also doing a session from 10:30 to 11:15 on making your personal finances perfect so that you can launch your business. So getting yourself set up financially first so that you can afford to invest in your company or your small business. So
Jennifer's great. That's going to be a good workshop.
yeah, we hope that you'll join us at some point next week.
And send your founders. If you out there, I see a bunch of leaders and venture capitalists and people in the audience. If you know some founders that need to take that workshop, it's really good.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, especially for those of us who have financial obligations already, maybe aren't the, college students who can live on ramen and in a $300 a month apartment for months at a time in order to get off the ground. This is definitely the workshop for them. So that's 10:30 to 11:15 next week. And then we go into our green building discussion from 11:30 to 1.
So I lied, Amy. I'm going to say something about Glavel. It's Glavel, Glavel, Glavel.
Yes.
And this company is so cool, everyone. And it relates to Cleantech Innovation because they take recycled glass and make like a road surface, like it's a subsurface of roadways. So it's a great, clean way to build our infrastructure. And the manufacturing facility that they're proposing in Quonset in North Kingstown, Rhode Island, will be net zero. So it's a really cool company. The way everything about the company we have fallen in love with, and we're just trying to help them get the funding to move here to Rhode Island and create jobs and help the environment. So we hope you can join us next week. And without further ado, it's 11:59. So let's kick it off, Amy.